Yo, Scroll and Sword, congratulations. We just finished the book, the gospel, according to St. Matthew, as our Catholic friends call him. But hey, we just read chapters 26 through 28. How you feeling? Are you feeling accomplished? We've been through every gospel so far this year, and now you should have a very robust and balanced idea of the life of Christ. And the ending of Matthew centers on what we call in Christendom the Great Commission, and that's specifically in Matthew 28:16 through 20. Let's get into it today. In Matthew 28, verses 16 and 17, the disciples worship Jesus. But some, they actually, if you didn't realize it, they're hesitating. They're showing real human weakness in the presence of divine calling. Like, imagine the Christ, the Son of God, 40 days after you saw him get put into a tomb. He's standing there alive. Clouds are splitting in the sky. Angels are descending. It would be an insane sight. And he stands there and looks at you and says, I'm leaving, so you got to go. You got to go do what I'm going to do, and you're going to do greater things. Imagine hearing that from the resurrected God King, God man, Jesus Christ, standing there in the flesh. It's just like, whoa. Like, I would have awe, reverence, but I would have hesitation and doubt that, like, I'm standing in front of God and I'm not that. And here's the deal. It's like, you can believe in Jesus and still hesitate to follow him when the cost or calling feels bigger than you. And that's what was happening to these disciples right here. It just felt way bigger all of a sudden. But Jesus declares in verse 18 of chapter 28 that all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to him, which is fulfilling Daniel chapter 7. So if Jesus indeed has all authority, then partial obedience is still disobedience. When he says go and do something and you are operating from a place of doubt and you're only going to do it halfway, that is full-blown disobedience. So Jesus, if he truly has all authority and he tells you to do something like he just did the disciples, which if you are a disciple of Christ, you are in the family of disciples, and what he commanded them to do, he commanded you to do. So you cannot be partially obedient. You got to be fully obedient and trust in the grace of Jesus, who stands before you as God with all authority. And Jesus, he commands them to make disciples of all nations, baptizing them and teaching them to obey everything he commanded. That's Matthew chapter 28:19. Shout out to 28:19, Pastor Phil. But if your faith stops with you, if you do not go therefore, and if your faith stops with you, you are not living out the mission Jesus gives you. This whole, let me just get saved. And, once saved, always saved. I am forever good no matter what I do. You are disobeying the great commission and command of Christ. So if your faith stops with you, you are not living out the mission that Jesus gave you. And Jesus promises his presence. I am with you always. When you are going, I am going with you. And this is echoing the pattern of God sending his people with his presence that we end up seeing in Acts chapter 1, verse 8. But here, if you are waiting to feel ready before obeying Jesus, you will never move, because his presence is in the answer, not your confidence. His presence is in the obedience, not your hesitation. So the takeaway from today's lesson is Jesus didn't just save you, he sent you. And his authority and presence are enough for the mission. Love y'all. See you in the discussion room. Congrats.